Hey, John,
Cool.
thank you for coming on the show, man. It's an honor to have you on. I can't wait to take a deep dive into your acting career. But as a musician myself, I'm a drummer and a guitar player. I got to
Awesome.
start with your musical influence because I seen you play guitar and you're pretty awesome at it. So, where did
Well,
that come
thanks.
from?
Well, I was in another life. I was a musician. I sang and did some guitar stuff for a metal group, and that was all before the whole film world kind of swallowed me up.
What kind of metal? What was it like?
Um, um, I mean, it was angry, you know, melodic stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I'd label it, but
Yeah, I got you 100%, man. It's kind of hard to label things. Like I've done things that are very reminiscent in my musical journey to Dream Theater, to Chevelle, to Tool, to Rush, to I think I tend to go like in the progressive like
those are
genre.
all
Like
great
I like to,
influences you listen
yeah, I like to really push the limits. I like to challenge myself. And I noticed that with
to.
your guitar playing, I was like, this guy could play, man. And you're
Oh,
doing a
thanks,
lot
man.
of stuff on on acoustic. So where did
That's all I do anymore, man. I'm just the band days are way behind me. I strum some acoustic around the home every now and then, and that's about the extent of it anymore.
yeah, I feel you. For me, I'm like 42, and to play drums, like I still record things, I still do pickup sessions, and I still like have passion with an artist that I've been working with for over 20 years, in a progressive rock genre. But man, when I do a track, I'm like, I'm winded, bro. Like I'm like tired. So, we could actually segue right into acting and stunts. I actually saw you on set on Arena Wars for
Yeah.
3 days in a row. Like, where do you get that energy, man? Because you guys were like shooting take after take. Tell us about that if you don't mind.
It was a very, very physical film. I mean, obviously the entire concept is gladiatorial, combat. So a lot of fight choreography and long days of just nothing but action sequence after action sequence. And but it was great, man. It was so much fun. I love that stuff. I mean, I'm a fitness guy. I'm a gym guy. So, I try to stay in shape as well as I can. I'm not as young as I used to be, so it's not as easy as it used to be, but, I try. Um, and and just being there with that particular team, man. I mean, we had such a great cast and crew on that. It was so easy to just be energized by it. It was electric. Once we get in that arena, it was just there, and it just happened.
Watching it on set, it was so amazing to see you guys roll it out. And I'm not going to spoil anything, people. Like, I mean, this is a great, great movie that's going to come out. Arena Wars, like, definitely look out for it. The Mahal brothers put in a lot of work. All the cast members put in a lot of work. And you got top billing on that, like which is amazing. So what was that like? I'm going to ask you one question if you don't mind revealing.
Sure.
What was that like to have top billing next to Eric Roberts, Michael Madsen, Robert Lasardo? Like, this is pretty incredible stuff,
How
right?
was it? How was it? It was very cool. It was really cool, man. I mean, it was a wonderful opportunity. I've been kind of following the Mahals for a little bit, and just kind of, hoping for a chance to get to work with them. And Brandon Slagle, the director, I've known for years. We've kind of run in the same circles, and we've been, social media, friendly acquaintances for years, and been wanting to work with him for a long time. Michael Sue, who I've known, again, another friendly acquaintance on social media for years, and we've kind of supported each other's work. And just really hoping for a chance to work with all these guys, and it all came together and worked with all of them on this one thing, which was such a wonderful blessing. But yeah, I mean, when the Mahals reached out about Arena Wars, you know, they said we'd like for you to read for the lead. I was like, like it's got to happen. Yeah. They originally they had reached out to me for the Western that they did, the Tommy Knockers, and I wasn't able. I had another shoot. I was doing a Christmas movie at the same time that was shooting, so I wasn't going to be able to be a part of it. And once I blew that off, I was like, man, these guys are never going to talk to me again. But then they reached out for Arena Wars, and I was over the moon.
Oh, 100%. So let me ask you this, like, because you did a great job. I was there, and I got a lot of things I want to ask you. I mean, first of all, the Superman punch. I'm going to start there. Okay, what's the influence? Where did you get the Superman punch from? Was it Allen? Was it Roman Reigns? Like, where did you get that from?
I think that was man. I mean, you know, Allen's the man, you know, and I just did what the brother told me to do, man. You know, I'd let him kind of create the dance, and then we'd tinker and alter as we went. But I'm pretty sure the Superman punch, that was something he pulled out of his pocket, and then the shot just became bigger once we started shooting it, and turned into that big epic slow-mo shot that Brandon and Sue grabbed. And
Oh, it's so good in the trailer. And the thing is, like, brother, great job. And you know, I now I have another question to ask here is that, you know, when you become an actor, there's only, you know, some people might not want to do certain things. They just want to act. But to be a physical actor, to do both, to do the physicality and do also like you know, get your lines down and you know, be solid, like what got you involved in wanting to do both, because a lot of actors are not willing to do that.
man, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I want to do everything. I want to do everything and anything. I'll try everything and anything. Take me as far out of my comfort zone as you can. To me, that's exciting, and that stretches me as a person and as an artist. It was kind of fun because when I very first got into film, my very first feature film, it was a starring role, and it was an action movie. And I kind of got into film as like, okay, I'm an action guy. I'm going to do action film, and I didn't. You know, that was kind of my last real action role for a long time and for years. And I just found myself kind of falling into found myself to be more of a dramatic actor, and that's kind of where I've sort of found my home, and that's kind of probably a little bit more of my skill set even than the action stuff. But these last few years, I'm like, God, I'm really hurting to do another action movie. Like, I really want to get my hands into doing I just want to I just want to do a movie where I just kick ass, you know.
It's
And
so addictive.
and along came Arena Wars, and then I'm there on set, and I'm doing these long, and I realized it's been a long time since I've done action stuff, and it's exhausting, and I'm not as young as I was when I did my last action movie. So
It's so addictive, but we love the challenges.
it's awesome. It's so great.
So let me ask you about this. Like, I've been a boxer, amateur, a martial artist of many years, and you know,
Awesome.
oh yeah, and done, you know, a lot of stuff. So I want to ask you, like, do you have any combat training?
Very minimal, man. All of
Wow.
my fight training I have has come from film sets or preparing for shoots. So it's all drawn from that. I don't have any prior, you know, I never really took martial arts other than just training specifically for cinematic purposes.
No kidding. So, dude, here's what's up. Like, how do you adapt to that? Because for me, even though like I'm doing some films now and I'm doing some stuff and I struggle, like we talk about, like I'm 42. So, you know, like I struggle through certain scenarios and whatnot. How do you transition? Because you did it very flawlessly.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, especially with the background you have. I think it really comes from, again, I'm really into the fitness thing and mobility training, and that to me, that is a tool for acting, is body awareness and knowing your body, knowing your physicality, knowing your movements, and having that understanding. And it's something I've preached, and when I've done some when I've taught some acting workshops, body familiarity, knowing that this acting is, it's a psychological medium that you express through physical means. It's the, you know, it really is your like your mind and your soul and your emotions. That's your paint, but your body is the brush. So that's kind of what has to relay everything. So it's how you carry yourself, how you move, how you lift your chin or keep your shoulders back, all those things, and how they read on camera are that's how you tell the story. That's how you convey things. So you really have to know your body. You have to know your movements. You have to know your posture. And I've tried to really kind of practice what I preach on that. So hopefully
Well,
it comes
since
across on screen.
Arena Wars, you're in production, if I'm not mistaken, in 13 different projects.
Yeah. I try to stay busy.
There's a reason for that, bro, because you know what you're doing. So,
Thanks. Thank you.
yeah, man, 100%. I'm going to give you all the credit. Like, when I was out there, okay, so to the listeners that are listening, I was out there hanging out with Eric Roberts, and I met the Mahal brothers. You know, I was out there as a friend for Eric, just chilling out on set, and then they invited me, the Mahal brothers, to a couple other set, you know, pieces over the next couple days after Eric had left, and I was watching and studying a lot of stuff. Dude, like I really supervise and really watch a lot of things. That's why I reached out to you, because I saw what you were doing. I saw what Kylie Fulmer was doing. And by the way, what a badass boxer she is.
She's great, isn't she?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I met her, I'm like, girl, you're incredible. And we hung out one night, me, her, and my wife. Like we just chilled out and had a drink and you know, like just shot the shit on boxing. And she just knows her stuff. And you know, I put her in a situation with a great promoter, Lou DiBella, where
Awesome.
I really hope that she gets some really meaningful fights because she deserves it. I
She's
noticed it.
super cool, man. She's a big positive energy in the room. And it's people like that are just
You
always great to have around.
feel it. You feel
Yeah.
it. You feel that impact, man. And so let me ask you this, okay? So acting, okay, there's a reason why we all do it. All right. Now you got into it. Was there a favorite actor or film, or just because? Like, how did it work for you?
Well, I was always a huge film geek. I mean, even like as a kid, long before I ever even considered pursuing acting, I loved movies. I was a huge introverted, nerdy kid. I was uncomfortable in my own skin. I was not physical. I didn't like playing sports and everything. I stayed inside. I read comic books and I watched movies, and that was me. I was into escapism. You know, I wanted you know, Star Wars and fantasy stuff and anything that took me like, you know, as far away from reality and where I was as possible. That was exciting to me. So that's kind of where I lived. So I got really into filmmaking and all that, just as a passion, but not as something I was actively pursuing. I didn't actively pursue acting until I was deep in my 20s at that point. Um, so where was I going with this? What was I talking
Well, I could give you something here.
Yeah.
I can give you something. Did you cry when Luke Skywalker showed up during The Mandalorian? Because I did.
I did get misty, bro. I did. It was what a magic moment.
I was a mess. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I go to my wife and she asked me, she begged me, she says, please do not disturb me while I'm sleeping. I know the last Mandalorian's popping off tonight, or you could watch them all, or whatever it was. Like, just please stay away from me. I couldn't help it. I like, I went in the bedroom. I'm like, baby, look, you have no idea. And I predicted this. I was like, Luke Skywalker's going to show up. Did you know Luke was going to show up?
I that was one of the theories that was floating around. I didn't think it was going to be Luke. I didn't think they were going to go that big with it, but they did. And it wasn't, and I didn't even think I wanted it. You know, when someone's like, you know, what happens if Luke shows up? I was like, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want, but the way they did it was so well executed and so effective. And it just worked. Everything about it just worked.
It was
That,
magical.
that show just, it just does Star Wars so right.
Yeah, yeah, they did a great job, and I started Transformers on Netflix today because I'm a big nerd when it comes to like
Yeah.
sci-fi and all this kind of stuff. So I started Transformers Kingdom today. No
Oh yeah.
spoilers, but I got like 4 episodes in. Oh my god, this is
I've heard
like,
it's great. I've
oh,
heard it's really
it's
good.
tremendous. Like I'm like, what is going on here? Like I started it this morning. I woke up around 7 o'clock. I'm like, all right, let me put it on. So I throw it on, and I was like 5 minutes in. I'm like, I'm like so dialed in. And I'm like, they're doing all this right now. They're just going to do all this to me right now. Okay, fine. Like, and I've been watching the first 2 seasons for like the past, year. Also, I watch Cobra Kai. You mess with Cobra Kai?
I love Cobra Kai. Love Cobra Kai.
Do you have
Great.
predictions for season 4?
I don't. I'm just gonna go along with it. Um, I think everybody's kind of predicting that, they're going to team up to go against their common enemy kind of vibe for the next season, which I'm totally down with. But yeah, I mean, whatever they choose, they've not done me wrong for 3 seasons so far. So
Oh, it's been amazing. And fight choreography we're talking about there. So
oh
I'm
yeah,
I'm going to
incredible.
ask you this because I've watched you on set and I seen what you were doing, and you have to continuously go over the same sequences over and over again. What's the biggest challenge for you to you don't seem very challenged, but like what's the hardest thing doing stunts for a film?
Um, just just wanting not to disappoint, I think, is a big thing for me. I just I set very high expectations for myself, and especially in a situation like Arena Wars, where I mean, I was the lead, and it's a lot of, I don't talk about it, but that's a lot of responsibility to carry. You've got a lot of people with eyes on you, and you've got something to really live up to. So especially with Arena Wars, it was just really wanting to deliver and not disappoint. So I felt that weight a lot of the time.
And what's the hardest thing you think overall in terms of when you cut a scene? Um, like, have you ever taken friendly fire? That's kind of like what I'm getting at. Did you ever get nailed? Because I got nailed a
Yeah.
couple
Oh yeah.
times.
Yeah. It's definitely happened. Yeah. I've taken several. I did a boxing movie last summer in Miami, and we I was the bad guy in that. I was the big champion guy that the underdog has to fight at the end. And the final match it's a 10-round match in the movie, and we shot that thing for, God, it was 12 to 15 hours of just
Oh my
shooting this
god.
match. It was the most physically grueling thing I've ever done in my life. And man, I mean, we both of us took some shots to the face on that that we're probably both still feeling a little bit.
That's crazy. But
Yeah,
you're so
I was
athletic.
I'm into fitness, and just trying to stay healthy and mobile, and in decent condition to where I can perform in the world as well as I can. But I never got into the competitive sports thing. And in school, I was the nerd, and I liked my comic books, and I liked my Shakespeare, and I was that kid.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the Shakespearean acting. How hard is that to remember those lines?
Shakespeare is not, it's not easy stuff, man. I've not done a lot of it. I've dabbled. I'm deeply passionate about it, but me being more of a film guy, I don't have the time to devote to doing any type of theater productions. I can't devote that much time to rehearsals and such. But Shakespeare is its own beast. It's very much a completely different realm of acting, and it's uh, I see you laughing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because I wouldn't
it's tough
mess with
stuff.
it.
Yeah, you can't just tiptoe into some Shakespeare. It is a and the Shakespeare audience is extremely critical, and they will pick you apart if you deliver incorrectly, if your rhythm is off. You know, these are things that if your enunciation is off, or you know, it's a very musical and rhythmic type of delivery. And then I mean, there's never been someone that writes that paints with words quite like Shakespeare. And you really have to know the dialogue, understand the dialogue, and be very true to it. And that's not an easy thing to do with something that with a type of speech that is so foreign and dated to how we speak today.
You can't come in there like me, like all Italian over here now from the East Coast. Like, art thou over here now? This person over here is a
Well,
shit bag. That's not gonna work. I'm
I'm
gonna
not going to say you can't. You absolutely can. And frankly, I'd like to see it.
I think it'd be a good look. Change it up a little bit. I
I'm all for it.
What 100%, man. You know, I want to talk about pets. I have a Chihuahua and I love her to death. She's my everything. Dude, I actually got a portrait painted of her that is lit up in my living room. Like, I spoil her. She is the greatest thing in the world, and she thinks she's the biggest beast on the planet, and that she could take anyone down. She's tough, but I always have to, make sure that we keep her out of harm's way because she's a little tiny little dog. She's 6 pounds. I noticed that you have pets. Let's talk about your pets, man, if you don't mind.
I don't have pets.
Oh, I thought you did.
My fiance has a dog that is in my heart my dog. He's a Great Pyrenees, and I think there's some Saint Bernard in there, and he's it sounds like the polar opposite of yours, where he's just this massive, mighty beast of an animal. And I mean, just a skull that, I mean, you can ride this dog into battle. I mean, he's just saddle him up and just charge. He is a lot of dog, and he thinks he's very small and meek, and he's very sweet, and he's very gentle, but he is very large.
I want to go back to this before I let you go. Back to Arena Wars. Okay. Now, you get to play a character named Luke. We love Star Wars, both of us. How awesome was that you got casted as like a guy named Luke?
That was cool. We did joke around about that a little bit. Especially Slagle made some jokes about it too. But everything about that show, man, was just such a privilege. I mean, I know we're getting kind of to the end here, and it's one thing before we wrap up. I really have to really hammer it home that the Arena Wars was a really special one for me. And the Mahals and Brandon Slagle, Michael Sue, those guys, that they trusted me with a role like this was it meant a lot to me, and hopefully I delivered. I definitely didn't hold back, and I poured myself into it, and I hope that shows. And just such a great cast and crew, man. All my core group of murderers and thieves that kind of rode with me through the end. Wesley and Johnny and Kylie and the whole bunch, man. Just such a great group of people, great group of talent. And yeah, I'm so blessed to have been a part of it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it comes together. I'm very proud of this one.
I knew it right away when I went there, not because I'm just, good friends with Eric Roberts when he invited me to come out and hang out and see him on set and whatever. And then the Mahal brothers invited me to come back a couple times, like I mentioned earlier. And I saw how much you all worked and how much you all gave. And I was like so impressed. I'm like, wow, this is really how it's done. And
I think
the,
we all
yeah,
wanted it to be good. We all saw something there, and
yep,
we wanted it to be as good as we can make it. And man, I mean, we had two of the best assistant directors that I've ever seen on a set, man. I mean,
so
Adam and
nice.
Bryce, those guys, Adam and Bryce were just, man, just a power team in terms of everything that they pulled through and made happen. Those guys are just rock stars.
Well, because that they hired people like yourself and the cast and everything, because real recognizes real. And that's why I reached out to you to do this interview, because I'm like, I saw you on set and I was like, man, this guy really knows how to burn it down. He does his thing, you know. You just went out there as a consummate professional, and I
Thank
was
you.
watching you guys just constantly going and going and going. And it wasn't like they were burning you out, but at the same time, like you're working your ass off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like, and it's consistent and it's the same thing. And I'm like, wow, this is so great. And they're getting
But
all
we are so blessed to be able to work that hard at something that we love so much. So, I mean, to have the opportunity to be able to work that hard at something that we love that much is not something. It's not something that should be taken lightly. You know, you can't half-ass something like that. If you're given the opportunity to do something you love, no matter how hard it is, you hammer it in, you give it everything you have.
absolutely, brother. Before I let you go, I want you to share, please, your information with my listeners, where they could follow you, where they could find you, and where they could see some of your work.
Um, Look me up on Facebook and Instagram, John Scott Wells. That's I'm on IMDb. I'm everywhere, man. Just search for me, John Wells.
John Wells, this was a kick-ass time, man. I cannot thank you enough for this experience. And I look forward, hopefully in the future, we can work together, because they're starting to give me some roles nowadays, and we'll see what happens.
Very cool. Very cool. I hope so.
I really do, but I don't know if I want to do a fight scene with you, because that Superman punch scares me. So,
That's just that's everybody else making me look good, man. I do what I'm told. They do all the magic with the lights and the cameras and the direction. Those guys are the wizards.
yeah,
I'm
but
just
I
the
was sitting there. Okay, I don't want to reveal anything, but I was sitting there, and I saw it happen multiple times, and I'm like, this is scary. Like, I'm like, did he nail? Did he nail that? I could have swore you did, but you didn't. But I'm like, damn, you guys are great at what you do, and thank you so much. You were great here today, man. I appreciate you.